Hello students, so we are going to learn about the human eye and the defects of their vision and their correction in this video. So human eye is used to sense colors and look at the beautiful world. It is the most significant and sensitive sense organ. So let us first discuss about the components of the human eye. So the first component is cornea. All the light that enters into the eye is traveled through this thin membrane. So this component forms a bulge in front of the eyeball. Now what is an eyeball? So the two things that we need to remember about eyeball is, first, it is a component that is spherical in shape, and second, that it has a diameter of about 2.3 centimeters. So coming on to the cornea, so all the refraction that of the light rays that enters into the human eye, that enters into our eyes, occurs at the outer surface of the cornea, that is here present, that can be seen in the figure that is given here. So the second component is iris. Iris is located behind the cornea, as you can figure out from this diagram, that it is a component that is located behind the cornea, and it is a dark muscular diaphragm that controls the size of the pupil. So pupil is another component of the eye, of the human eye. So pupil regulates and controls the amount of light that can be entered into the eye. So are you getting that? Iris is located behind the cornea, and pupil is the structure that controls the amount of light that can be entered into our eyes. How does it control the amount of light that enters into eye? So let me explain that to you. Just listen to it very carefully. So the pupil acts like a variable aperture, which means that its size can be changed with the help of the iris. So iris is the component that helps the pupil to change its size, because size of pupil is variable. So when we enter into a room that has bright light, that contains bright light, the iris contracts the pupil in order to allow less light to enter into the eye. On the other hand, if you are in a place with dim light, suppose you are in a place and you are in a dark room or something like that, then iris expands the pupil so as to allow more light to enter into the eye. So that's how the structure of the pupil can be regulated with the help of iris, which is also a component of the human eye. So as we can see, as we can note in this figure that is given in the video. So the next structure is crystalline lens. Crystalline lens provides the final adjustment of the focal length, which is really very important in order to focus objects at different distance on the retina, since the crystalline lens forms the image on this light sensitive organ, which is known as a retina. So the lens forms the image onto the retina. So the lens forms an inverted real image of the object onto the retina. So the retina is the very delicate membrane that has a number of light sensitive cells in it, and these light sensitive cells get activated when illuminated with light, and which generates electric signals. And these signals that are generated due to these light sensitive cells, these travel to the brain via our optic nerves. What are the name of the nerves? Optic nerves are used to transmit signals, electrical signals, to the brain from our eyes. So our brain then interprets these signals, processes the information, and this is how we are finally able to perceive the objects as it is they are. Okay, so there's also a component that is known as aqueous humor. So what does this component do? what is the role of this component in a human eye. So aqueous humor is the clear watery fluid that is present between the cornea and the front of the vitreous. It plays a very important role in nourishing of the cells, since our eye does not contain any blood, and maintain the pressure within the eyes. Another thing that you should note here that is very important is that any damage to any part of the visual system, whether it is cornea, eye lens, retina, iris, even the optic nerves that are used to transmit the signal to our brain from our eyes, can lead to visual impairment. That is, a person may or may not be able to see due to damage or malfunction of any of the component of the human eye. The next topic is power of accommodation. Now, what is power of accommodation? Ability of the eye lens to adjust its focal length is known as the power of accommodation of a human eye. So we already know that the eye lens is composed of fibrous and jelly-like material. So therefore, the curvature of the eye lens can be modified with the help of a ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles are the muscles that helps in modification of the curvature of eye lens, and can lead to change in the focal length of a human eye. So if the muscles are in relaxing state, the lens becomes thin, and thus this focal length increases, and we are able to see distant objects clearly and distinctively. Now, if we want to look at the objects that are near to us, the ciliary muscles contract, the curvature of the eye lens increases, and the eye lens becomes thicker. This causes a decrease in the focal length of the eye lens, and therefore we are able to see and perceive nearby objects. So, due to the ciliary muscles, due to this flexibility of our ciliary muscles, we are able to see far objects and nearby objects more clearly and distinctively. However, it should be noted that the focal length of the eye lens cannot be decreased below a certain limit. We all know that everything has a certain limit, so we cannot reduce focal length of the eye below any certain limit. For example, if you hold a pen in front of you, and if you just keep the distance between your eyes and the pen less than 25 centimeters, you are not able to see the image. The image just blurs out. So there's always a minimum and a maximum limit that you need to follow in order to see nearby or distinct objects. So the minimum distance at which we are able to see objects distinctively without having to strain an eye is known as the least distance of the distinct vision. So the least distance of the distinct vision, or the also known as the near point for an young adult with a normal vision, is 25 centimeters, while the far point of the eye lens is infinity for a young adult. The far point up to which the eye can see the object clearly is known as the far point of the eye, which is infinity for a young adult. Cataract or blurry vision can be developed in old people, in which the crystalline lens becomes cloudy or milky. Obviously, with the old age, there comes certain problems due to which the development of cataract can occur. This is a defect of the vision. It can also cause partial or complete loss of the vision, and although it can be restored by cataract surgery, a person can go to a doctor and can ask for a cataract surgery. So this condition is completely modifiable. Coming on to the defects of vision and their correction. Now let us discuss this topic. So the first defect is myopia, which is also known as nearsightedness. So in myopia, the person is able to see near objects clearly, but he or she has a problem in seeing the far object distinctly. Like, a person can see the thing that is kept in front of him or her, that is nearby to him or her. But if he has to see like 1,000 centimeters away from him or her, or 10,000 centimeters, he or she is not able to see that thing properly due to this condition. So in myopia, the image of the distinct object is formed in front of the retina. So this may be due to the elongation of the eyeball or excessive curvature of the eye. Although myopia can be corrected by using a concave lens of a suitable part. So by using a concave lens, the image can be formed back onto the retina, and thus the defect can be corrected. The next defect is hypermetropia, which is also known as far-sightedness. So in my hypermetropia, the person is able to see far objects distinctively, but is not able to see near objects clearly. So the person with hypermetropia, this means that the person with hypermetropia cannot see a thing that is kept just in front of him or her due to this condition. So the person with hypermetropia have near point farther away from the normal near point, that is 25. So the near point of the person is not 25 centimeter, it is farther away from 25 centimeters or more. Hypermetropy occurs if the light rays from a close object are focused behind the retina. It arises if the eyeball becomes too small or the focal length of the eye lens is too long. A converging lens can give an additional focusing power to form the image on the retina and can help in correcting hypermetropia. So hypermetropia can also be corrected by using a converging lens. The third defect is presbyopia. So with aging, the near point of the eye lens gradually recedes away. With aging, many people suffer from this defect. It becomes difficult for the people to see nearby objects clearly and distinctively. This condition is caused due to gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles that helped in adjusting the that helped in viewing the near and the distant objects, and it may be also caused due to diminished flexibility of the eye lens. So presbyopia can also be corrected by using a bifocal lens that consists of both concave and convex lens, and that can be used for the correction of presbyopia. So usually in the bifocal lens, the upper portion of the glass consists of the concave lens that facilitates distant vision, and the lower portion is the convex lens that facilitates the near vision of the eye. So that's it for this video. We'll learn about more things in our next video. Thank you so much.